Imagine coming across a lion carrying a baby in the middle of the savannah. That's exactly what a man witnessed, but what happened when he got closer left him utterly shocked. The morning sun cast long shadows across the Rocky Mountains as environmental ranger Ethan Hayes adjusted his binoculars. 20 years of patrolling these remote trails had taught him to trust his instincts, and today something felt different. The usual chorus of birdsong had fallen silent, replaced by an unsettling stillness that made the hair on the back of his neck stand up. Through his binoculars, he scanned the rugged terrain, expecting to spot the usual wildlife, perhaps a deer or an elk moving through the underbrush. Instead, what he saw made him question his own sanity. A mountain lion, one of the most feared predators in these parts, was walking deliberately along a distant ridge. But it wasn't the cat's presence that shocked him. It was what the animal carried in its jaws. A baby. A human baby. Ethan's hands trembled as he steadied the binoculars. The scene before him defied logic. The mountain lion moved with surprising gentleness, carrying the infant as carefully as it would one of its own cubs. The baby appeared to be unharmed, though its occasional whimpers carried faintly on the breeze. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give it a like. Let us know which city you're watching us from. Stay tuned. His first instinct was to radio for backup, but years of experience had taught him that sudden movements or noise could startle the big cat. With trembling fingers, he reached for his radio, then thought better of it. Instead, he began to follow the mountain lion, maintaining a safe distance while trying to make sense of the impossible situation before him. As he tracked the animal, other details began to emerge. The ground told a story that only added to the mystery. Mixed in with the mountain lion's prints were human footprints, some of them dragged as if someone had been struggling. A piece of synthetic fabric, the kind used in modern hiking jackets, hung torn from a nearby branch. The mountain lion paused in a small clearing, gently setting down its unusual cargo. The baby, surprisingly calm given the circumstances, looked around with wide eyes. Ethan used this moment to edge closer, but the big cat's acute senses detected his presence. In one fluid motion, it picked up the infant and continued its journey. A crackle of static from his radio made Ethan jump. His colleague, Logan Mitchell, had been trying to reach him. Within minutes, Logan appeared on the trail, his face a mixture of concern and disbelief, as Ethan quickly explained what he'd witnessed. "You're telling me a mountain lion is babysitting?" Logan whispered, skepticism evident in his voice. But as they continued to follow the cat's trail, something else caught their attention. A strange metallic odor hung in the air, growing stronger as they pressed forward. The trail led them to a larger clearing, where fresh tire tracks cut deep into the soil. Broken branches and precise cuts in nearby trees suggested recent human activity. But it was what stood in the center of the clearing that stopped both rangers in their tracks. A rock formation covered in strange symbols that seemed entirely out of place in the natural landscape. Ethan spotted something glinting near the rocks. Approaching cautiously, he found a metal fragment with sharp edges and unusual markings. The object was inexplicably warm to the touch, as if recently used. Before they could examine it further, the distant sound of an engine broke the silence. The rangers quickly concealed themselves behind trees as a black SUV appeared on the trail. Someone emerged from the vehicle carrying what appeared to be some kind of device. The mountain lion, which had remained remarkably calm around the rangers, suddenly tensed. It set the baby down and retreated into the forest with a low growl. As the SUV's occupant approached the rock formation, Ethan and Logan exchanged worried glances. Who were these people? What connection did they have to the baby and the unusually behaving mountain lion? The answers seemed just out of reach, but one thing was certain. They had stumbled upon something far more complex than a simple case of wildlife behavior. The presence of advanced technology in this remote location, combined with the mysterious symbols and the mountain lion's inexplicable behavior, suggested they were dealing with something beyond their normal range of experience. As they watched the scene unfold, neither ranger could shake the feeling that they had just scratched the surface of a much larger mystery. As the SUV's engine faded into the distance, Ethan and Logan emerged from their hiding spots to check on the baby. The infant, despite its extraordinary ordeal, appeared unharmed and surprisingly alert. Clutched in its tiny hand was a scrap of fabric that seemed to have been torn from a backpack, the material unlike anything the Rangers had encountered before. More metallic fragments littered the ground around them, each piece bearing distinct patterns that suggested they were parts of a larger device. Logan picked one up, examining its unusual surface. "This isn't standard camping gear or research equipment," he muttered, turning the piece over in his hands. "Look at these markings. They almost seem to pulse." The baby suddenly pointed toward the dense forest, making soft but insistent sounds. Both Rangers exchanged uncertain glances before deciding to follow the infant's gesture. As they ventured deeper into unfamiliar territory, the metallic scent grew stronger, and their handheld devices began to malfunction, screens flickering with strange patterns. They discovered a partially buried structure, its entrance composed of weathered metal, hidden beneath years of vegetation growth. The door stood slightly ajar, revealing a dark interior that seemed to hum with an almost imperceptible frequency. Despite their years of experience patrolling these mountains, neither ranger had ever encountered this installation before. Inside, narrow corridors stretched in multiple directions, their walls covered with symbols matching those found on the rock formation. The air felt charged with static electricity, making their skin tingle. More fragments lay scattered about, some still emitting weak pulses of light, creating eerie shadows that danced along the walls. In what appeared to be a control room, they found broken monitors displaying static images of various park locations, including the clearing they'd just left. The technology, though clearly advanced, seemed somehow different from conventional surveillance equipment. The screens showed data in formats they couldn't comprehend, using symbols that matched those on the walls. Footsteps echoing through the corridor forced them to extinguish their flashlights and hide. Two figures in tactical gear entered, carrying specialized tools and speaking in hushed tones about a prototype. Their conversation made it clear that the baby was more than just a lost child. It was part of something bigger, something they needed to recover. After the men departed, Ethan and Logan carefully made their way back to the surface, their minds racing with questions. But upon returning to the clearing, they discovered the baby had vanished once again. Fresh tracks in the soil showed that the mountain lion had returned, this time accompanied by human footprints that neither ranger recognized. Ethan's radio suddenly crackled to life, emitting a burst of static before a metallic voice cut through. "You've gone too far. Retreat." The unexpected transmission sent chills down their spines, confirming their suspicions that they'd stumbled upon something far beyond their usual jurisdiction. The Rangers began documenting everything they'd found, the metal fragments, the symbols, the hidden facility, but they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The mountain wilderness, which had always been their sanctuary, now felt different, as if it held secrets that challenged their understanding of reality itself. As they made their way back down the trail, Logan noticed something odd about their compass readings. The needle spun erratically, pointing in impossible directions. Their GPS devices displayed coordinates that made no sense, showing locations that shouldn't exist within the park's boundaries. The baby's disappearance, combined with the mysterious facility and the mountain lion's inexplicable behavior, painted a picture that defied conventional explanation. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Something unprecedented was happening in these mountains, something that blurred the lines between nature and technology in ways they never thought possible. Back at their ranger station, they began to compile their findings, careful to document every detail. But as they reviewed their photographs, they noticed something strange. The symbols they'd seen seemed to shift and change, as if the images themselves were somehow alive. The mystery was deepening, and they were now part of something that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the world around them. The following morning, Ethan and Logan embarked on a more thorough investigation of the mysterious facility. Armed with backup equipment and specialized sensors borrowed from the park's research station, they hoped to gather concrete evidence of what they'd discovered. The metallic odor that had permeated the area the day before was now stronger, almost electric in nature. As they approached the hidden structure, their new equipment began registering unprecedented energy readings. The sensors detected patterns that, according to their displays, shouldn't be possible in nature. The nearby vegetation had taken on subtle but strange characteristics, leaves that seemed to shimmer with an inner light, flowers that tracked their movement like automated cameras. Inside the facility, the corridors looked different from their previous visit. Sections that had been dark were now illuminated by a soft, pulsing blue light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. The symbols they'd observed earlier appeared to be in constant motion, shifting and rearranging themselves in patterns that defied logic. They discovered a new chamber they hadn't noticed before, its entrance concealed behind what appeared to be a holographic wall. Inside, they found rows of sophisticated equipment that seemed to blend organic and technological components. Screens displayed real-time data about the mountain's ecosystem, but with an intensity of detail that surpassed any environmental monitoring system they'd ever encountered. A central console caught their attention. Its surface was covered with the same symbols they'd seen throughout the facility, but these responded to their presence, glowing brighter as they approached. Logan, whose background in environmental science included some computer expertise, noticed that the symbols appeared to be both a language and a code simultaneously. "Look at this," he whispered, pointing to a sequence of symbols that kept repeating. "These patterns, they're not just random. They're responding to something out there in the park." The display showed a map of the mountain range, but with overlays of energy patterns they'd never seen before. Multiple points pulsed with activity, and one location in particular glowed with unusual intensity. Their investigation was interrupted by a soft humming sound that seemed to come from everywhere at once. The walls began to vibrate with a frequency that made their teeth ache. On one of the screens, they watched as a new pattern emerged, one that exactly matched the path the mountain lion had taken with the baby. Ethan noticed something else. The temperature in certain sections of the facility fluctuated wildly, creating microsystems that shouldn't be possible in an enclosed space. In one corner, frost formed on the walls, while just a few feet away, the air shimmed with heat distortion. They found a laboratory filled with specimens of local flora and fauna, but each sample exhibited impossible characteristics. Plants that responded to thought patterns, rocks that seemed to store and transmit data, and most surprisingly, detailed studies of the mountain lion population that suggested decades of systematic modification. A sealed room at the facility's heart contained what appeared to be an incubation chamber. The technology surrounding it was like nothing they'd ever seen, a seamless blend of biological and mechanical components. Data streams displayed on nearby monitors showed genetic sequences intertwined with complex mathematical formulas. As they examined the chamber more closely, they discovered records indicating a long-term project involving the local wildlife. The mountain lions, it seemed, were more than just subjects of study. They were active participants in whatever experiment was being conducted here. The baby's involvement somehow connected to this larger pattern, but the exact nature of the connection remained elusive. Logan managed to access one of the main databases, and what they found left them speechless. The facility wasn't just studying the environment, it was actively manipulating it, creating a complex network of modified organisms that served as living sensors and data processors. The mountain lions were apparently key nodes in this network, their natural instincts enhanced and redirected towards some greater purpose. The database revealed a project far more extensive than either ranger could have imagined. What appeared on the surface to be a simple research facility was actually the control center for an intricate web of modified organisms spread throughout the Rocky Mountains. Every plant, every animal they'd encountered had been subtly altered to serve as part of a vast living network. The mountain lions occupied a special place in this system. Their enhanced intelligence and modified instincts allowed them to act as guardians and data gatherers, moving through the wilderness with newfound purpose. The baby's presence seemed to activate something within them, triggering protective behaviors that shouldn't have been possible. As they delved deeper into the facility's records, they discovered evidence of a breakthrough that had occurred several months earlier. The scientists had apparently succeeded in creating a perfect fusion of organic and technological systems, a living interface that could bridge the gap between human consciousness and the natural world. The baby, they realized with growing amazement, wasn't just a random participant in these experiments. According to the data, the infant represented the first successful integration of this new technology. The child could somehow communicate with the modified ecosystem, forming a symbiotic relationship with the environment itself. Logan accessed a video file that showed earlier stages of the project. They watched as mountain lions carried out complex tasks, working in coordination with other wildlife to maintain and protect the hidden network. The animals displayed problem-solving abilities far beyond their natural capabilities, yet retained their wild nature. A series of images captured the moment when everything changed. The baby's arrival had triggered an unexpected response in the network. The mountain lions, instead of merely observing and reporting, had begun actively protecting the child. It was as if they recognized something special about the infant, something that connected them all to a larger purpose. Ethan discovered a set of readings that tracked energy patterns throughout the park. The data showed massive spikes of activity coinciding with the baby's movements. Somehow, the child's presence was amplifying the network's capabilities, creating new connections and strengthening existing ones. They found evidence that the facility's scientists hadn't anticipated this development. The baby's effect on the network had exceeded all their projections, leading to rapid evolution in the modified organisms. The mountain lions, in particular, had developed abilities that went far beyond the original parameters of their enhancement. A warning system suddenly flashed across the screens. Something was happening in the network, a surge of activity that centered on a location several miles from the facility. The reading suggested that the mountain lions were gathering, responding to some signal that the sensors couldn't fully interpret. The facility's defense systems activated automatically, sealing certain sections and initiating what appeared to be a data purge. Logan worked quickly to download as much information as possible before it disappeared. The symbols on the walls began pulsing with increased intensity, and the air itself seemed to crackle with energy. Through the monitoring system, they watched as multiple mountain lions converged on a single location. The baby was there, surrounded by the big cats, but instead of danger, the scene radiated a sense of purpose. The animals moved with coordinated precision, forming a protective circle around the child. Just then, they detected multiple vehicles approaching the facility. The black SUVs they'd seen earlier were returning, accompanied by larger trucks carrying what appeared to be specialized equipment. Ethan and Logan realized they needed to make a decision quickly: stay and risk discovery, or leave with the information they'd managed to gather. As Ethan and Logan retreated to a secure observation point near the facility, they witnessed an extraordinary transformation in the surrounding environment. The enhanced ecosystem was responding to the baby's presence in ways that defied scientific explanation. Plants swayed without wind, and small animals moved in synchronized patterns, all seeming to coordinate their actions through some invisible communication network. Through their borrowed sensors, they detected an intricate web of energy signatures emanating from the gathered mountain lions. The big cats had formed a perfect circle around the baby, their bodies emanating pulses of energy that matched the frequencies they'd observed in the facility's data. The infant, far from showing any distress, appeared to be actively engaging with this energy field. The approaching vehicles carried teams of researchers in specialized protective gear. Their equipment, visible through high-powered binoculars, appeared designed to interact with the energy signatures they were tracking. The scientists moved with urgent purpose, setting up a perimeter of devices that began emitting similar frequencies to those produced by the mountain lions. Hidden in their vantage point, the rangers watched as one of the researchers attempted to approach the baby. The response was immediate and astonishing. The mountain lions didn't growl or show aggression. Instead, they created a visible barrier of energy, a shimmering field that prevented anyone from getting too close to the child. The baby's reactions became more pronounced. Each time the researchers attempted to breach the protective circle, the infant's movements triggered ripples of response throughout the surrounding ecosystem. Trees bent, flowers turned, and even the rock formations seemed to shift slightly, all in perfect synchronization with the child's gestures. Logan's downloaded data began providing context for what they were witnessing. The facility's project had been attempting to create a bridge between human consciousness and nature, but they'd never anticipated that an infant would become the perfect conductor for this connection. The baby's developing mind, free from preconceived limitations, had formed a pure instinctive bond with the enhanced network. The researchers' equipment started malfunctioning, overwhelmed by the increasing energy emissions. Screens flickered and died, and their vehicles' electrical systems began to fail. The mountain lions, however, showed no signs of distress. If anything, they appeared to be growing stronger, their movements becoming more deliberate and coordinated. Through their sensors, Ethan and Logan detected a new pattern emerging. The energy signatures were changing, evolving into something more complex. The baby was no longer just communicating with the network, they were reshaping it, creating new connections and pathways that expanded far beyond the facility's original design. The transformation reached a critical point as the sun began to set. The entire clearing was now alive with visible energy, creating patterns that matched the symbols they'd seen in the facility. The mountain lions moved in perfect unison, their actions guided by something larger than their enhanced instincts. They were becoming part of a new kind of consciousness, one that bridged the gap between human ingenuity and natural wisdom. As darkness fell, the researchers retreated, their equipment rendered useless by the powerful energy field. But Ethan and Logan stayed, transfixed by the unfolding phenomenon. The baby had become the centerpiece of something unprecedented, a true fusion of human potential and natural intelligence that defied their understanding of what was possible. The mountain lions began a complex series of movements, each step precisely calculated. The baby, cradled in the heart of their protective circle, seemed to be directing this elaborate dance. Energy patterns rippled outward from their position, transforming the surrounding landscape in subtle but significant ways. The ranger's sensors recorded everything, but the data they collected only hinted at the true magnitude of what they were witnessing. They were observing the birth of something entirely new, a hybrid consciousness that could revolutionize humanity's relationship with the natural world. The data Logan downloaded revealed a project codenamed Neural Nexus, designed to create a seamless interface between human consciousness and the natural world. The facility's scientists had spent years modifying the local ecosystem, gradually building a living network that could process and transmit information in ways that traditional technology couldn't match. The baby's unique ability to connect with this network hadn't been planned. According to the research notes, the child's unprecedented neural patterns were first detected during routine environmental scans. The infant possessed a natural capacity to synchronize with the modified ecosystem, something the scientists had been trying unsuccessfully to engineer for years. As dawn approached, Ethan and Logan observed new developments in the clearing. The mountain lions had maintained their protective formation throughout the night, but their behavior was evolving. They moved with increased precision, responding to subtle changes in the baby's movements. The entire group seemed to be learning, adapting to their role as guardians of this remarkable child. The ranger's sensors detected expanding waves of influence spreading through the park. Plants and animals far beyond the clearing were beginning to show signs of enhanced activity. The baby had become a catalyst, accelerating the network's evolution in ways the facility's creators hadn't thought possible. Through their monitoring equipment, they tracked the flow of information through this living network. Every creature touched by these signals displayed heightened awareness and coordination. Even the smallest organisms, insects, bacteria, fungi, were being incorporated into this growing consciousness. The research teams made several more attempts to approach, each time with more sophisticated equipment. But the protective barrier created by the mountain lions grew stronger with each challenge. The baby seemed to be teaching them, expanding their capabilities beyond their original programming. Logan's analysis of the downloaded files revealed something else. The facility had been preparing for a major breakthrough in human environment integration. The scientists had theorized that a perfectly synchronized neural interface could revolutionize environmental conservation, allowing humans to understand and protect nature in unprecedented ways. The baby's natural ability to form this interface had rendered their careful preparations obsolete. Instead of a controlled technological solution, they were witnessing the spontaneous emergence of a new kind of relationship between human consciousness and the natural world. As they studied the unfolding situation, Ethan noticed patterns in the mountain lion's movements that corresponded to ancient indigenous stories about the relationship between humans and nature. The facility's advanced technology had inadvertently tapped into something that traditional wisdom had long recognized: the potential for deep, meaningful connection between human consciousness and the natural world. The research team's latest equipment detected something remarkable. The baby's brainwaves were synchronizing not just with the mountain lions, but with the entire enhanced ecosystem. Each pulse of activity strengthened these connections, creating a more resilient and sophisticated network. The ranger's sensors began picking up new energy signatures emanating from deep within the Earth. The network was tapping into geological systems, incorporating mineral formations and underground water sources into its expanding consciousness. The baby had become a bridge between multiple layers of natural systems, each one adding new dimensions to this evolving intelligence. The facility's original goal, to create a controlled interface between technology and nature, was being transformed into something far more profound. Through the baby's natural abilities, they were witnessing the birth of a true partnership between human consciousness and the living world, one that transcended the limitations of artificial systems. The morning brought new revelations as Ethan and Logan continued monitoring the extraordinary events unfolding in the Rocky Mountains. The baby's influence on the enhanced ecosystem had created something unprecedented, a living network that was rapidly evolving beyond its original design. Through their specialized equipment, they observed as the mountain lions executed complex behavioral patterns that seemed to protect not just the baby, but the entire network itself. The big cats moved with calculated precision, establishing perimeters that corresponded to the energy fields emanating from the enhanced flora and fauna. The facility's research teams had withdrawn to a safe distance, their attempts to intervene thwarted by the increasingly sophisticated defensive measures of the mountain lions. Their equipment, despite its advanced technology, proved inadequate against the organic intelligence that had emerged around the baby. Logan's analysis of the downloaded data revealed that the Neural Nexus project had originally aimed to create a controlled system for environmental monitoring and protection. The scientists had methodically enhanced local wildlife, planning to establish a network of living sensors that could track environmental changes and respond to threats. But the baby's natural ability to interface with this network had transformed it into something far more significant. Instead of a mere monitoring system, they were witnessing the emergence of a true symbiosis between human consciousness and natural intelligence. The child's developing mind, unfettered by preconceptions, had formed connections that the researchers had thought impossible. The ranger's sensors detected new patterns in the energy signatures surrounding the baby. The infant wasn't just communicating with the network, they were orchestrating a complex symphony of natural processes. Plants adjusted their growth patterns, animals modified their behaviors, and even geological formations seemed to respond to this new influence. Through their observations, they noticed that the mountain lions had developed a kind of collective consciousness. Each cat maintained its individual identity, while simultaneously functioning as part of a larger, more complex intelligence. This transformation appeared to be spreading to other species within the network's range. The facility's original modifications to the ecosystem had been carefully controlled, designed to enhance specific capabilities without fundamentally altering the natural order. But the baby's presence had catalyzed something more profound, a genuine evolution in the relationship between human consciousness and the natural world. As they studied the unfolding phenomenon, Ethan recognized patterns that echoed ancient wisdom about the interconnectedness of all living things. The facility's advanced technology had inadvertently provided a framework for something that indigenous cultures had long understood: the potential for deep, meaningful communion between human awareness and natural systems. The downloaded research files suggested that the scientists had theorized about the possibility of such a development, but had never found a way to achieve it through technological means alone. The baby's natural ability to form these connections had bypassed years of careful engineering, creating something organic and self-sustaining. Throughout the day, they tracked the expansion of the network's influence. Each new connection strengthened the whole, creating a more resilient and sophisticated system. The mountain lions, acting as guardians and facilitators, helped integrate new elements into this growing consciousness. The transformation they were witnessing suggested possibilities that went far beyond the original goals of the Neural Nexus project. Instead of imposing human control over nature, they were observing the emergence of a true partnership, one that could revolutionize humanity's understanding of and relationship with the natural world. The next phase of the neural nexus transformation began to manifest in unexpected ways. The mountain lion's protective circle around the baby had evolved into something more sophisticated, a living, breathing perimeter that adapted to changes in the environment with fluid intelligence. Their movements now seemed to follow invisible patterns that corresponded to the flow of energy through the enhanced ecosystem. The baby's influence continued to grow, but in subtler, more profound ways. The infant's brainwave patterns, detected by the ranger's specialized equipment, showed synchronization with increasingly complex natural systems. What had started as simple communication with the modified wildlife had developed into a deep integration with fundamental ecological processes. Logan's analysis of the facility's data revealed that the scientists had theorized about the possibility of quantum-level interactions between consciousness and nature. The baby's unique neural patterns seemed to be actualizing these theories, creating connections that operated at the most fundamental levels of reality. The research teams made another attempt to approach, this time with equipment designed to mimic the baby's brainwave patterns. Their efforts revealed both the sophistication and limitations of their technology. While they could replicate some aspects of the child's connection to the network, they couldn't reproduce the organic, evolving nature of these interactions. Through their monitoring devices, Ethan and Logan observed as the network began to display emergent properties, behaviors and capabilities that couldn't be predicted from its individual components. The mountain lions, acting as conduits for this new intelligence, demonstrated problem-solving abilities that combined animal instinct with something approaching human reasoning. The baby's presence had triggered changes in the local flora as well. Plants near the protective circle exhibited accelerated growth patterns and unprecedented responsiveness to their environment. These modifications spread outward in concentric rings, creating zones of enhanced biological activity that the rangers could track through their sensors. The facility's original modifications to the ecosystem had been precisely targeted, designed to enhance specific traits while maintaining overall stability. But the baby's influence had introduced an element of creative adaptation. The network was now evolving on its own, finding new ways to integrate and enhance natural systems. As darkness approached, they detected a new phenomenon. The mountain lions began emitting low-frequency vibrations that resonated with the surrounding rock formations. These vibrations created standing waves in the earth itself, establishing what appeared to be communication channels through the ground. The downloaded research files suggested that the facility had been working towards something they called total environmental integration, a state where technology and nature could work in perfect harmony. The baby had achieved this integration naturally, creating a model that surpassed their most optimistic projections. The ranger's equipment detected increasing complexity in the network's energy patterns. What had started as simple signal transmission had evolved into something that resembled a living, thinking entity. The baby remained at the heart of this transformation, but the system was becoming self-sustaining, capable of growing and adapting without direct intervention. Throughout the night, they observed as new species were drawn into the network's influence. Each addition brought new capabilities and perspectives, expanding the range and sophistication of this emerging consciousness. The mountain lions, as the primary guardians, helped facilitate these integrations while maintaining the system's stability. The transformation they were witnessing suggested possibilities that went far beyond environmental protection or scientific advancement. They were observing the birth of a new kind of intelligence, one that bridged the gap between human consciousness and natural wisdom in ways that could revolutionize our understanding of life itself. As dawn broke over the Rockies, the neural nexus network displayed unprecedented developments. The baby's influence had begun altering the fundamental structure of the enhanced ecosystem, creating new patterns of interaction between different species and environmental systems. The mountain lions, now operating with heightened intelligence, adapted their protective strategies to accommodate these changes. The facility's research teams had established a new observation post at a safe distance, their instruments recording the remarkable transformation taking place. Their data, intercepted by Logan's modified sensors, showed that the network's energy signatures had begun matching patterns previously observed only in advanced computing systems. The baby's neural activity had evolved to encompass multiple layers of environmental interaction. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan detected the infant's brainwaves synchronizing with geological formations, weather patterns, and even electromagnetic fields generated by the Earth itself. This deep integration suggested possibilities that transcended the original scope of the neural Nexus project. The mountain lions demonstrated new capabilities that combined their enhanced instincts with analytical problem-solving. They established complex communication networks using a combination of vocalizations, body language, and the energy fields they now generated. This sophisticated system allowed them to coordinate their actions across vast distances, maintaining the integrity of their protective circle while expanding their influence. Logan's analysis of the facility's data revealed that the scientists had theorized about the possibility of consciousness existing at multiple scales simultaneously. The baby appeared to be manifesting this theory, creating connections that operated at both quantum and macro levels. The network had become a living laboratory for testing the boundaries between mind and matter. The transformation accelerated as the day progressed. Plants near the protective circle began exhibiting properties that defied conventional biology. They responded to thoughts and emotions, creating patterns that reflected the collective consciousness emerging within the network. These changes spread outward in waves, integrating new species and systems into the expanding awareness. Through their specialized equipment, the rangers observed as the network began developing self-regulatory mechanisms. It could now identify and respond to environmental threats without direct intervention from the baby or the mountain lions. This autonomous behavior suggested the emergence of a genuine environmental intelligence, one that combined human consciousness with natural wisdom. The facility's original modifications had focused on enhancing specific traits in individual species. But the baby's presence had catalyzed something far more significant: the development of a unified field of consciousness that transcended individual organisms. This field contained elements of both human and animal awareness, creating something entirely new. The mountain lion's protective circle had evolved into a dynamic system that responded to subtle changes in the environment. They could now anticipate potential threats before they materialized, adjusting their positions and energy outputs to maintain optimal protection for both the baby and the network itself. As evening approached, they detected new patterns in the network's communication systems. What had started as simple signal transmission had developed into a complex language that incorporated elements of both human and animal consciousness. This hybrid communication system allowed for unprecedented levels of coordination between different species and environmental systems. The baby's influence continued to reshape the relationship between technology and nature. The network had begun integrating artificial systems into its consciousness, finding ways to harmonize human innovation with natural processes. This integration suggested possibilities for solving environmental challenges that had previously seemed insurmountable. Through their observations, Ethan and Logan realized they were witnessing more than just a scientific breakthrough. The neural nexus had become a bridge between different forms of consciousness, creating pathways for understanding and cooperation that could transform humanity's relationship with the natural world. The facility's hidden archives, accessed through Logan's decryption of the downloaded files, revealed the true origins of the neural nexus project. What had begun as a military-funded research initiative to develop advanced environmental monitoring systems had evolved into something far more profound under the guidance of a brilliant but controversial scientist, Dr. Sarah Chen. Dr. Chen's research focused on the potential for human consciousness to directly interface with natural systems. Her theories, dismissed by mainstream science, suggested that young children possessed an innate ability to form connections with the natural world, connections that were typically lost during normal development. The baby they'd been observing was part of her groundbreaking experiment to preserve and enhance these natural abilities. The mountain lion's unusual behavior made more sense in light of these revelations. Dr. Chen had specifically chosen these animals for their combination of intelligence, protective instincts, and social complexity. Through careful genetic modifications, she had enhanced their natural abilities while maintaining their essential wildness. The result was a species capable of serving as intermediaries between human consciousness and the natural world. The Ranger's monitoring equipment detected new developments in the network's structure. The baby's influence had begun creating stable pathways between different levels of consciousness, allowing for the free flow of information between human, animal, and environmental awareness. These pathways operated outside conventional neural patterns, suggesting the emergence of an entirely new form of communication. Through their sensors, they observed as the mountain lions began implementing complex strategies that reflected this enhanced connection. Their movements now incorporated elements of both instinctive behavior and calculated planning, demonstrating a level of sophistication that bridged the gap between animal and human intelligence. Dr. Chen's research notes described her vision for the project, the creation of a new kind of environmental consciousness that could help humanity address the growing ecological challenges facing the planet. The baby's natural abilities had accelerated this process, achieving in months what she had projected would take decades. The facility's original purpose became clear as they delved deeper into the archives. It wasn't just a research center, it was designed to be the nucleus of a worldwide network of enhanced ecosystems, each connected through the kind of consciousness they were now witnessing. The baby's unexpected abilities had transformed this ambitious plan into something even more revolutionary. As night fell, they detected subtle changes in the network's energy patterns. The mountain lions had begun coordinating their activities with other enhanced species, creating a web of consciousness that extended far beyond the immediate area. This expansion suggested the possibility of scaling the network's influence to address environmental challenges on a global scale. The research teams made another attempt to approach, this time led by someone the Rangers recognized from Dr. Chen's files, her former research partner, Dr. James Morrison. His presence suggested that the facility's original leadership was attempting to regain control of the project, concerned about its rapid evolution beyond their original parameters. Through their equipment, Ethan and Logan observed as the network responded to this new challenge. Instead of simple defensive reactions, it demonstrated sophisticated problem-solving abilities, finding ways to communicate its intentions without confrontation. The baby, still at the center of this transformation, seemed to be guiding these interactions with remarkable wisdom. Dr. Chen's final notes, encrypted within the facility's deepest archives, revealed her ultimate hope for the project, the creation of a true partnership between human consciousness and natural systems, one that could help restore balance to Earth's damaged ecosystems. The baby's natural abilities had brought this vision closer to reality than she had ever imagined possible. The arrival of Dr. Morrison brought new context to the situation unfolding in the Rockies. Through their surveillance equipment, Ethan and Logan watched as he attempted to establish communication with the network using protocols developed during the project's early stages. His presence triggered a cascade of responses throughout the enhanced ecosystem. The mountain lions responded to his approach with unexpected sophistication. Instead of maintaining their defensive posture, they began executing complex patterns of movement that the Rangers recognized from Dr. Chen's notes as attempts at nonverbal communication. The baby, still at the center of their protective circle, seemed to be directing these interactions with remarkable clarity of purpose. Logan's analysis of the facility's data revealed Dr. Morrison's role in the project's development. He had been responsible for designing the original genetic modifications, creating a framework that would allow for controlled enhancement of natural abilities. But Dr. Chen had taken these foundations in an unexpected direction, focusing on the potential for genuine consciousness integration rather than simple biological enhancement. The network's response to Dr. Morrison's presence demonstrated its evolved intelligence. Instead of treating him as a threat, it began incorporating elements of his research into its expanding consciousness. The mountain lions adjusted their behavior patterns, creating spaces for potential collaboration while maintaining their protective duties. Through their monitoring equipment, the Rangers observed as new connections formed between different components of the enhanced ecosystem. The baby's influence had begun bridging the gap between Dr. Morrison's technical approach and Dr. Chen's more holistic vision, creating synthesis between seemingly opposing methodologies. The facility's archives contained records of the philosophical divide that had eventually separated the two scientists. Dr. Morrison had advocated for strict control over the enhanced species, while Dr. Chen believed in allowing natural evolution to guide the project's development. The baby's unique abilities had vindicated her approach in unexpected ways. As evening approached, they detected changes in the network's energy patterns that suggested new developments in its capabilities. The mountain lions began demonstrating behaviors that combined their enhanced instincts with elements of human-like reasoning, creating a hybrid intelligence that could potentially serve as a model for future environmental integration. Dr. Morrison's attempts to interface with the network revealed both the sophistication and limitations of the project's original design. While his technical protocols could establish basic communication, they couldn't match the depth and complexity of the connections the baby had formed naturally. This realization seemed to affect him deeply, changing his approach to the situation. The ranger's equipment detected subtle shifts in the electromagnetic fields surrounding the area. The network had begun adapting its communication methods to accommodate Dr. Morrison's presence, creating new pathways for information exchange that built upon but transcended his original protocols. This adaptation demonstrated the system's growing capacity for creative problem-solving. Through their observations, Ethan and Logan realized they were witnessing a crucial moment in the project's evolution. The confluence of Dr. Morrison's technical expertise with the organic development of the network suggested possibilities for collaboration that could expand the project's potential while maintaining its essential harmony with natural systems. The baby's role in this process had become clearer. Rather than simply acting as a catalyst for change, the infant was actively guiding the integration of different approaches to environmental enhancement, creating a synthesis that preserved the best elements of both human innovation and natural wisdom. Dr. Morrison's presence catalyzed a new phase in the Neural Nexus project. His technical expertise, combined with the organic evolution of the network, created opportunities for unprecedented advancement in environmental integration. The mountain lions, responding to this shift, began incorporating elements of his protocols into their protective strategies. The baby's influence continued to expand, but now with a more structured approach that reflected the convergence of different methodologies. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan observed as the network developed new capabilities that merged technical precision with natural intelligence. The enhanced ecosystem had begun operating at levels of sophistication that exceeded even Dr. Chen's most optimistic projections. The facility's archives revealed Dr. Morrison's growing understanding of the project's potential. His initial skepticism about allowing natural evolution to guide development had given way to appreciation for the complex systems that had emerged. The baby's ability to bridge different forms of consciousness had demonstrated possibilities he hadn't considered in his original designs. Through their sensors, the rangers detected the formation of new neural pathways throughout the enhanced ecosystem. These connections followed patterns that combined the structured approach of Dr. Morrison's protocols with the organic development encouraged by Dr. Chen. The result was a hybrid system that maintained stability while continuing to evolve. The mountain lions demonstrated this convergence in their behavior. Their movements now incorporated precisely calculated patterns that enhanced rather than replaced their natural instincts. This integration of different approaches to environmental enhancement suggested possibilities for scaling the project without sacrificing its essential connection to natural systems. Dr. Morrison's attempts to study these developments revealed unexpected synergies between technical and natural processes. The network had begun incorporating elements of his research into its structure, while maintaining the organic flexibility that had allowed it to evolve beyond its original parameters. This combination created new opportunities for expanding the project's scope. The baby's role in facilitating this convergence became increasingly clear. The infant's natural ability to form connections between different types of consciousness had created a framework for integrating various approaches to environmental enhancement. This synthesis preserved the strengths of each methodology while transcending their individual limitations. Through their observations, Ethan and Logan recognized the significance of what they were witnessing. The Neural Nexus project had evolved beyond its original conception, creating possibilities for environmental restoration that combined human innovation with natural wisdom. The mountain lions, serving as intermediaries in this process, demonstrated the potential for genuine collaboration between species. The research teams, following Dr. Morrison's lead, began adapting their approach to studying the network. Instead of attempting to control its development, they focused on understanding and supporting its natural evolution. This shift in methodology reflected a broader change in perspective about the relationship between technology and nature. As night fell, the Rangers' equipment detected new patterns in the network's energy signatures. The convergence of different approaches had created stable pathways for information exchange between various components of the enhanced ecosystem. These connections suggested possibilities for expanding the project's influence while maintaining its essential harmony with natural systems. Dr. Morrison's analysis of the network's development revealed unprecedented possibilities for environmental restoration. The synthesis of technical and natural processes had created a model that could potentially be replicated in other ecosystems. The mountain lion's evolved behavior demonstrated how enhanced species could maintain their wild nature while participating in sophisticated environmental management systems. The baby's influence continued to grow more refined and purposeful. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan observed as the infant guided the development of new connections between different components of the enhanced ecosystem. Each addition strengthened the network's ability to respond to environmental challenges while maintaining its essential balance. The facility's databases contained preliminary plans for expanding the project to other locations. Dr. Chen had identified potential sites worldwide where similar networks could be established, creating a global web of enhanced ecosystems. The baby's natural abilities had accelerated this timeline, demonstrating how quickly such systems could be developed under the right conditions. The mountain lions began showing signs of even more sophisticated behavior. They established communication networks that extended beyond their immediate group, coordinating with other enhanced species to create larger patterns of environmental protection. This expansion suggested possibilities for scaling the project without losing the intimate connection between consciousness and nature. Through their sensors, the Rangers detected the formation of new energy patterns that suggested the network was preparing for growth. The enhanced ecosystem had begun creating stable pathways that could potentially connect with other natural systems, laying the groundwork for broader environmental integration. Dr. Morrison's team had started documenting these developments with new appreciation for their significance. The convergence of different approaches to environmental enhancement had created opportunities they hadn't imagined possible. The baby's role in facilitating this integration demonstrated how natural intelligence could guide technological advancement. The research files revealed plans for introducing similar modifications to other species in different environments. The success of the mountain lion program had provided a template for enhancing natural abilities while preserving essential wildness. This balance would be crucial for expanding the project's scope. As sunset approached, they observed new developments in the network's structure. The enhanced ecosystem had begun establishing connections with unmodified species, suggesting possibilities for gradual expansion without direct intervention. This natural growth demonstrated the project's potential for self-sustaining development. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan detected increasing sophistication in the network's problem-solving abilities. The combination of enhanced instincts and evolved consciousness had created systems capable of addressing complex environmental challenges. These capabilities suggested applications far beyond the project's original scope. The baby's guidance of these developments showed remarkable wisdom. The infant's natural ability to form connections between different types of consciousness had created frameworks for expansion that preserved the essential balance between technology and nature. This harmony would be crucial for the project's future growth. Dr. Morrison's presence had helped validate the project's potential for broader implementation. His technical expertise, combined with the organic evolution of the network, suggested possibilities for replicating these results in other locations while maintaining their essential connection to natural systems. The mountain lion's role in this expansion demonstrated how enhanced species could serve as bridges between human innovation and natural wisdom. Their evolved behavior provided models for environmental stewardship that could be adapted for different ecosystems and species. The Neural Nexus project had reached a crucial phase of development. Dr. Morrison's integration with the research team brought new perspectives on scaling the enhanced ecosystem. The mountain lions, serving as primary conduits for this expansion, demonstrated increasingly sophisticated coordination with other species in the network. The baby's influence had evolved into a guiding force for environmental harmony. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan observed as the infant facilitated connections between different aspects of the enhanced ecosystem. These interactions created stable patterns that could potentially be replicated in other locations. Dr. Chen's original vision, preserved in the facility's archives, had anticipated this kind of development. Her research suggested that consciousness could serve as a bridge between technology and nature, creating systems that enhanced rather than replaced natural processes. The baby's unique abilities had validated this approach in unexpected ways. The network's expansion showed signs of self-regulation that surpassed the original design parameters. Enhanced species began establishing connections with unmodified organisms, creating gradual pathways for natural evolution. This organic growth demonstrated the project's potential for sustainable development without aggressive intervention. Through their sensors, the rangers detected new patterns in the ecosystem's energy signatures. The integration of different consciousness types had created stable frameworks for environmental management. These systems combined the precision of technical enhancement with the adaptability of natural intelligence. Dr. Morrison's team had begun documenting these developments for potential replication. The success of the mountain lion program provided templates for enhancing other species while maintaining their essential nature. This balance would be crucial for expanding the project to different environments. The facility's databases revealed preliminary plans for global implementation. Various sites had been identified where similar networks could be established, creating an interconnected web of enhanced ecosystems. The baby's accelerated development of these systems suggested possibilities for faster implementation than originally projected. As evening approached, they observed new levels of coordination between enhanced species. The mountain lions had begun facilitating connections between different parts of the ecosystem, demonstrating how consciousness enhancement could improve environmental management while preserving natural balance. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan detected increasing sophistication in the network's problem-solving capabilities. The combination of enhanced instincts and evolved consciousness had created systems capable of addressing complex environmental challenges. These abilities suggested applications far beyond the project's initial scope. The baby's role in guiding these developments showed remarkable sophistication. The infant's natural ability to form connections between different types of consciousness had created frameworks for expansion that preserved essential harmony between technology and nature. This balance would be crucial for the project's future growth. Dr. Morrison's presence had helped validate the project's potential for broader implementation. His technical expertise, combined with the organic evolution of the network, suggested possibilities for replicating these results in other locations while maintaining their essential connection to natural systems. The mountain lion's evolved behavior provided models for environmental stewardship that could be adapted for different ecosystems and species. Their role as intermediaries between human innovation and natural wisdom demonstrated the potential for genuine collaboration in environmental protection. A year after their initial discovery, Ethan and Logan stood at a new observation point overlooking the expanded Neural Nexus network. The mountain lions they had first encountered now coordinated with dozens of enhanced species across the Rocky Mountains, creating an intricate web of environmental protection that had begun healing decades of ecological damage. The baby, now a toddler, had developed abilities that surpassed all expectations. Through carefully designed interfaces, the child could communicate the network's insights about environmental challenges and potential solutions. This direct connection between human consciousness and natural systems had revolutionized approaches to conservation worldwide. Dr. Morrison and his team had successfully established similar networks in other locations, each adapted to local ecosystems and species. The mountain lions of the Rockies provided a model for enhancing natural abilities while preserving essential wildness, a balance that proved crucial for the project's expansion. The facility had evolved into an international research center, where scientists studied the harmonious integration of technology and nature. Dr. Chen's vision of consciousness, serving as a bridge between human innovation and natural wisdom, had become reality, creating new possibilities for environmental restoration. Through their monitoring equipment, Ethan and Logan observed the network's continued evolution. Enhanced species demonstrated increasingly sophisticated cooperation, addressing environmental challenges with combinations of instinct and evolved intelligence that surpassed artificial solutions. The toddlers' guidance had created stable frameworks for expansion that maintained perfect balance between technological advancement and natural processes. This harmony ensured that each new addition to the network strengthened rather than disrupted existing ecological systems. Dr. Morrison's research confirmed that the project's success could be replicated under varying conditions. His technical expertise, combined with the organic development patterns established in the Rockies, provided templates for implementing similar networks worldwide while preserving their essential connection to natural systems. The mountain lions had become ambassadors of this new approach to environmental stewardship. Their evolved behavior demonstrated how enhanced consciousness could improve ecosystem management while maintaining the wild spirit that made them magnificent creatures. The Neural Nexus project had transcended its origins, creating a model for environmental protection that combined the best aspects of human innovation with the wisdom of natural systems. This synthesis offered hope for addressing ecological challenges that had once seemed insurmountable. The success in the Rockies inspired similar initiatives across the globe, each adapted to local conditions while maintaining the core principles of consciousness integration and natural harmony. The network continued to grow, guided by the remarkable connection between a child's pure consciousness and the enhanced awareness of the natural world. As sunset painted the mountains in golden light, Ethan and Logan reflected on their role in discovering this remarkable fusion of technology and nature. The future they had helped unveil suggested possibilities for environmental restoration that would benefit generations to come. Dear listeners, we hope this tale of extraordinary discovery has sparked your imagination about the potential harmony between humanity and nature. To continue exploring similar stories of innovation and environmental wonder, find our special playlist by clicking the link to your left. If this journey through the Rocky Mountains touched your heart, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Every day we bring you unique narratives that challenge our understanding of what's possible. Join our community in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the future of environmental conservation. Together, we can envision and create a world where technology and nature work in perfect harmony.